Hey, I'm Rachel. I'm one of the pastors for Circle of Hope, and this is our at-home Sunday meeting. I'm so glad that you made it here with us today. This is another opportunity for us to build a community of faith around Jesus and through Jesus all around the country and all over the world. I'm going to be one of your hosts here tonight, and I hope this gives you a chance to kind of explore and even participate in the chat. If you're on YouTube there and you're watching this live at 5 o'clock, there's a chat function that you can get on and ask questions and dialogue with other people. And then there's going to be an opportunity for the second half of this meeting on Zoom where you could actually interact. I'm going to be there, our host Danny is going to be there, and some of our other hosts, where we can actually get to know each other a little bit more, because this meeting is really all about connection with each other and connection with God. I'm here in South Philly at FDR Park. You can see the lake behind me. This park is also called the Lakes by South Philly residents because there's a couple of ponds. I admit they're kind of ponds to me because I grew up in the mountains, but I'm so grateful for these ponds, aka lakes, because South Philly heats up like an oven in the summer. A hot and humid oven. Maybe, I don't know if it's hot where you are right now. I think it's kind of hot all around the country right now. But South Philly, my favorite place in the world, gets really hot and humid during the summer. And so people love to come to the lakes. And my good friend Justin Bernardinis, he's the park ranger of this park. He's done a great job remediating these lakes. They used to be really nasty and polluted, and now they are beautiful places to be. I'm telling you all this because this park and this opportunity to play together and have fun even in the heat of the summer is kind of like a river in the desert. It's kind of like a stream in the wasteland that the prophet Isaiah talks about. It's a really needed glass of cool water in the midst of very difficult things in our world, often even in our hearts. And so I'm enjoying it out here today, and I hope that this meeting can kind of be like water of life to you, straight from Jesus. I hope also that this is a safe place to ask questions, because I think that is a big part of the faith journey. We grow through our questions and through living into the answers together. So it's really about the questions this season that we agree with. It's not necessarily the answers. And our pastor Ben is gonna talk on a really interesting one later on in the meeting about what do we do when our friends disappoint us. So please stick around, and in the meantime, here's a welcome from our other hosts.
Hey there, I'm Nathan McLaughlin. I use he, him, his pronouns. I'm from Virginia, I'm part of Circle of Hope, and I'll be one of your hosts for this week's at-home Sunday meeting.
Hi, welcome to Circle of Hope's at-home Sunday meeting. My name is Danny Morseberger. I use she, her pronouns, and I'll be one of your hosts for tonight.
There are seasons where it seems everything is set against us, where we are left alone. Our primary and immediate sense is to brace. Rough waters that barrel in to take our balance from us, wave after punishing wave. We do our best to stand. We scan the horizon in search of reprieve. All the while, our resolve is being silently eroded by coarse salt. Judging glances, empty promises, and unsustainable expectations wear down any optimism remaining. It is here, in these places, in these seasons, that God meets us. Consider what God says. Don't be afraid. I have redeemed you. I've called your name. You are mine. When you're in over your head, I will be there with you. When you're in rough waters, you will not go down. Because I am God, your personal God, the Holy of Israel, your Savior. Forget about what has happened. Don't keep going over old history. Be alert. Be present. I am about to do something brand new. It's bursting out. Don't you see it? There it is. I'm making a road through the desert, rivers in the Badlands, drinking water for the people I chose, the people I made especially for myself, a people custom made to praise me.
God is doing something new. I believe you, Nathan, and Prophet Isaiah, whom you were quoting, that God is doing something new even in the midst of the worst of our feelings and circumstances. Can we suspend our disappointment and skepticism for a moment to kind of make room to imagine something new in our hearts, even if we can't get specific about what that newness would be? I kind of need to do this every day as a spiritual discipline, because I wake up in the morning with all these impressions, even in my body, about the past. And I need to spend that time with God to make room for the miracle, for God to do something new. My cell, it's cool that we don't have to climb a mountain, though, to do that, to imagine God doing something new, because Jesus is in the storm. My cell was remembering this week how when Peter walked on water, it's because Jesus met him in the middle of the storm. And so that's our reality right now. We don't have to get out of the storm to experience the presence of God. God meets us right here, where we are in the midst of our circumstances. So Danny's going to offer a few songs for us to worship and make room for us to experience the presence of God and for Jesus to be our vision, even in the storm.
How lovely is your dwelling place, O Lord Almighty. My soul longs and even faints for you. For here my heart is satisfied within your presence. I sing beneath the shadow of your wings. Better is one day in your courts, better is one day in your house, better is one day in your courts than thousands elsewhere. Better is one day in your courts, better is one day in your house, better is one day in your courts than thousands elsewhere. One thing I ask, and I would seek, is to see your beauty, to find you in the place your glory dwells. One thing I ask, and I would seek, is to see your beauty, to find you still be my vision, O ruler of all.
Hey y'all, I'm Ben White. I use he, him pronouns. Super glad to be here with you on the At Home Sunday meeting. I hope that you're already in the chat, but the dialogue continues. My goal as we talk is to get us moving in the same direction together. And our series really helps with that because we're saying it's questions, not answers, that we agree with. Some questions are too big. Some questions require a lot of time to gestate, and they can produce more than an easy answer. The questions themselves can be generative. And I think this question that I want to ask today with you is just like that. It comes from our Someone Asked YouTube series. We had a channel, we have a playlist here on our YouTube channel that you can go check out. For years, the pastors, even before I was a pastor, were having unscripted dialogue about questions that someone asked. Go check it out. And this is our most popular question on that series. It is, what do I do when my friends disappoint me? I think everyone can agree with this question. You can agree with this question, right? Put it in the chat right now if it's something you agree with. If you agree, have you been disappointed? Do you wonder what to do? Yeah, I think we vibe with this question. First, if you're feeling disappointed by your friends right now, I'm with you. I've been disappointed, even recently. And I'm in it with you. And I hope that means something. But also Jesus agrees with this question. He had an experience in the Gospels that really screams disappointment to me. And I want to read it to you. It's Matthew 26, 36 through 45. Jesus is about to be arrested in Jerusalem. And he is going out to pray because he knows that he's going to get arrested. And he knows that his arrest will lead to his death. And this is very difficult for him. He's a human being. He's working with this, and you'll see it in the story. Then Jesus went with his disciples to a place called Gethsemane, and he said to them, "Stay here while I go over there and pray." He took Peter and the two sons of Zebedee along with him, and he began to be sorrowful and troubled. Then he said to them, "My soul is overwhelmed with sorrow to the point of death. Stay here and keep watch with me." Going a little farther, he fell with his face to the ground and prayed, "My Father, if it is possible, may this cup be taken from me, yet not as I will, but as you will." Then he returned to his disciples and found them sleeping. "Couldn't you men keep watch with me for 1 hour?" he asked Peter. "Watch and pray so that you will not fall into temptation. The spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak." He went away a second time and prayed, "My Father, if it is not possible for this cup to be taken away unless I drink it, may your will be done." When he came back, he again found them sleeping, because their eyes were heavy. So he left them and went away once more and prayed the third time, saying the same thing. Then he returned to his disciples and said to them, "Are you still sleeping and resting?" Yeah, Jesus agrees with this question. He's with you in it. Jesus is the ultimate human being, and he shows us how to be human. And he's been through so many things just like what you have been through. And he's with you in them now, even in a way that no one else can be. And I pray that you would experience your disappointment with him because he's been there and he's with you now. I think AJR also agrees with this question. Major switch there. AJR is this New York rock pop band that has risen up the top 40 charts in the last year. It's totally appropriate for a pandemic era music scene that this song, Way Less Sad, would be as popular as it is. I don't know if you've heard it, but let me read you a couple of the lines here. "And I don't want to hurt no more." Yeah, pop songs are like the modern hymns. They're our mythology, they're our stories, and they feed to us what we're feeling in many ways. And I don't want to hurt no more. Yeah, I don't want to hurt no more. So I set the bar real low. I'm A-okay. I'm A-okay. You say it, but you just don't mean it. You're so insane. You're so insane. Shut up and just enjoy this feeling. Just dance. Boogie down to our electro pop and set the bar real low. I think that they're being facetious and also truthful. They're describing how they're experiencing their isolation, their disconnection, their disappointment. They're running from hurting. That's I think the number one temptation with this question. The temptation to run away, and then subsequently in relationships that come after it, to set your bar real low, to not put yourself out there again. That's really strong. It's almost like a defense mechanism. It's almost like a survival instinct. It might happen automatically if you're not paying attention to it. And so that's one of the great things about this question is if we ask it and we agree with it for a while together, we might be more aware of what's actually going on inside of us. Because I think another temptation is to really externalize the problem, to make it their problem. You did this to me. And to not take the opportunity to go inside and see what's going on down inside. And Jesus is a master human. Again, he's the best human. And in his sermon, the Sermon on the Mount, I think he's getting at this in a way that I hope works for you. Let me know in the chat if I'm making any sense at all. But I think that this, when Jesus is talking in the Sermon on the Mount in Matthew 5:33-37, when he's talking about oaths, he's working with this descriptive quality of how we deal with our insides. We want to put them on the outside. We want to externalize. We want to make it not impact us, because we have the inside, the tender parts inside of us are very carefully protected automatically. You can't help that. That's just how you are. And I think Jesus is saying that in this roundabout way. Let me see if this works. So Matthew 5:33-37. Again, you have heard that it was said to the people long ago, do not break your oath, but fulfill to the Lord the vows you have made. But I tell you, do not swear an oath at all, either by heaven, for it is God's throne, or by the earth, for it is his footstool, or by Jerusalem, for it is the city of the great king. And do not swear by your head, for you cannot make even one hair white or black. All you need to say is simply yes or no. Anything beyond this comes from the evil one. Now, this could just be a weird new rule that Jesus is making that's different than what they said way back when. You've heard it said, and I'm saying something new, so listen to me. But I think Jesus is saying something more. I think he's describing humanity, and this is what he's doing a lot in the Sermon on the Mount especially. He's saying, this is how you work. Pay attention. Take a look. See this. Because you could think that your yes doesn't matter, or that your no doesn't matter. What your purpose is, what your will is, what your desire is, doesn't matter, and you have to externalize it. The only way to make anything that you say matter is to put something else that's more powerful than you on top of it, like heaven, or like earth, or like Jerusalem. You could swear by these external things to make what you say matter. But the only thing that matters, Jesus says, is your yes and your no, what's coming from your will, what's deep within you coming out and expressing itself in the world. Jesus is saying you matter. What you say matters, and that's enough. Anything else leads to all kinds of evil. That kind of externalization is very dangerous because it doesn't allow the question, it doesn't allow the feeling to happen inside of us, and there's no opportunity in that for transformation because we're just cutting it off. It's their fault. It's not mine. I need to be protected. I've been hurt. I've been disappointed. It's me that is in pain. But disappointment is an interesting feeling because it's not, I don't think it's really at the core. There are some deeper feelings below all these other feelings, and we might want to get to those, especially when we're communicating with people we love in conflicted situations. So let's take a look at this emotion feeling wheel. Disappointment is over here in the blue section, and really what disappointment is about, it's about sadness. You see that? You know, and there are all these other feelings out here on the edge that are kind of the most external feelings. And if we get down deeper, we'll discover at the core of us, there are some simpler kind of feelings. I think this is really helpful to pay attention. What is the actual feeling that I'm feeling? That's a question that could follow this question. What do I do when I'm disappointed with my friends? Well, I could ask, well, what's the real feeling underneath it? Because it could be something else. You know, it might edge over towards anger, or there might actually be fear that this will happen again and again. It could just be shock, and it would be more of a surprise, and that maybe you'd be able to move past that if you reframe it. I don't know what it's going to be for everyone, but there's more. There's a depth that's available to us that if we don't just externalize the problem and we make the space to actually feel the feelings that are happening inside of us, we will learn more about who we are, and there's an opportunity in that for transformation. So this question is an opportunity for transformation. Every question is, and every relationship is. I think that's why God gives us to one another. That's why God gives us the church. We're a place for relating. We're a body of people that are broken and healed with Jesus at the center, and we are learning a new way to live and love in community. And so to break out of the old patterns of those temptations of the weak flesh, to externalize the problem, to not really own what's going on inside of me, to not really examine, well, what were the agreements? Did I even know that this was an expectation before I was hurt by what they did? Those are all great questions to ask before you go and then try to have a nonviolent conversation with your loved one. Not because if I say I'm disappointed, you stink. You know, that it kind of automatically communicates that. And if I'm able to get down a little bit deeper in the feelings wheel, I might say I'm sad, or I'm afraid, or I'm angry. And it has much less directional energy towards the other person, and I'm owning my insides, and I'm saying no, I'm not going to swear this by some external thing. I'm going to say, no, this is me. This is what's happening. I matter, and what I say matters, and I want to matter to you. And please help me understand what happened here. As you relate to God in community, you'll grow in faith, because this is a very difficult thing to do. This is hard to do what I'm suggesting here. To love when you feel threatened, to not run away when you feel scared, to not isolate, to not set the bar way low. All of that is super hard stuff, and we need the power of the Holy Spirit to enable us to do that. We need the love of Jesus at the center of that feeling wheel to make it a safe place to say our yes, to speak our truth, and to trust beyond what our expectations are, to trust even beyond what our experience is, because we're not giving up on that relationship. We're committed to one another. Our community is based on an ongoing dialogue, not law. It's based on mutuality, not rights. It's based on self-giving love, not mere tolerance. That's one of the convictions that drive us. Check that out on the Our Beliefs page at circleofhope.church. Here's another one. It's better to be reconciled than to be right. Chew on that. One more. Don't look for a new rule to solve a relational problem or a policy adjustment to produce integrity. That's that externalizing again, you know? We are committed to each other, and we're running toward each other, even when we don't know everything that's going on. But if we, in our disappointment, own as much as we can and come with a genuine desire to make peace, to have reconciliation, to preserve one another in love, we will be doing the Jesus thing, and we will have Jesus on our side and on everyone's side, bringing us together. Jesus at the center, binding us together in love. Don't give up on one another, y'all. It's so easy to do that. I know I'm tempted to isolate, to externalize, to make it nothing about what's going on inside of me. But I'm challenged to make my yes a yes, and to make my no a no when a boundary needs to be set. Don't give up on each other, because there's love in there. There's God in there. You're looking into another human face and you're saying, I believe in you. I believe in God in you. I believe that there's more. Just as I found out that there's more in me and there's more going on than I totally understand, I recognize the whole universe of stuff that's going on inside of you, because I know there's that in me. Yeah, I agree with the question. What do I do when my friends disappoint me?
Thank you for that word of wisdom, Ben. Don't give up on each other. There's more that Jesus is doing to bring us together. There's more love in you because God is in you. And we're in this together, forming a circle of hope all around the world. I believe in you like Ben does, and I believe in us. So I want to invite you now to stay on this video. If you're watching this live, there's going to be a Zoom link in the chat. Danny is leading an after hang for us to talk to one another, actually online on Zoom, so that we can get to know each other a little better. Also, please like this video and share it around so that more people can receive this encouragement from the Lord. And subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't done that already, so that you can get the latest from Circle of Hope. Lots of information about our community is going to be on circleofhope.church. That's our website. And you can even share in our common fund right on the website. That's the common pot of resources that helps us share with people all around the world, and it helps us keep this mission going. I want to leave you with a blessing that Nathan gave us earlier in the meeting. Receive it again from Jesus. There are seasons where it seems everything is set against us, where we're left alone, and our primary and immediate sense is to brace ourselves. Rough waters barrel in to take our balance, wave after punishing wave, and we do our best to stand. We scan the horizon in search of reprieve, and all the while, our resolve is being silently eroded by coarse salt, judging glances, empty promises, and unsustainable expectations wear down any optimism that we have remaining. It is here, and here's the blessing. It is here in these places, these seasons, these very moments that God meets us. Consider what God says. Do not be afraid. Do not be afraid. I have redeemed you. I've called you by name. You are my beloved. When you're in over your head, I'm going to be with you. When you're in rough waters, you will not go down. Because I am God, your personal God, the Holy of Israel, your Savior, your presence, the presence of God. Forget about what has happened. Don't keep going over old history. Instead, be alert. Be present to me, the presence. Not me, but Jesus. He says, I am about to do something new. It's bursting out right now. Don't you see it? There it is. I'll make a road through the desert, rivers in the wasteland. Drinking water for the people that I have chosen. That's all people, by the way, and that's you. The people I made especially for myself. A people custom made to praise me. Let's keep praising Jesus, even in the midst of our storms.